Welcome everyone. We'll talk about competency framework for customer service professional. Remember, it is all about being competent and what are the essential attributes that a customer service professional should possess, as in competency framework is all about it. The agenda is very simple: to understand the definition of competency and the framework thereof, to find out why competency frameworks are important and how they can be used as on when on basis, to learn and to develop, implement a competency framework much effectively, and to ensure that the competency works well in practice, in due course of stuff, in real life situation. Competency framework actually catapults your services into a best level, Ivy League level of customer feedback or satisfaction is concerned, or reviews are concerned. Definitely, competencies are the behavior that a employee should display, should exhibit, and it should be acquired in order to perform their jobs in the organization. The competency framework, just a model that broadly defines what are the right things to do, the blueprint for an excellence performance within an organization. So remember, competencies are behaviors. The competency framework is a model of a blueprint of which translate a normal interaction to an excellence performance for the organization. So yes, competency frameworks are important. Yes, competition framework allows organization to define an expected judgment, expected standard, expected performances, which allows the employees to make judgment about their attitude, their behavior in knowledge, as in what is to be prioritized, what is vital, and what are essential for the organization. Remember, this is what is important. A competency framework enables or equips the employee with the requisites of the organizational knowledge and parameters thereof. So, recruitment, to determine interview questions, assessment, tools in recruitment process to ensure that successful candidate demonstrate or has an aptitude to learn to demonstrate those competencies. This is what we will be talking around it. Appraisal, performance management to underpin the achievement of objective with the demonstrations of the competencies. Organizational change to underpin a restructuring or reorganization process in a team or a department thereby. Analysis of the training rates, that TNA, to training need assessment that comes around. It is the area that needs to be developed or highlighted for the staff of the team. So yes, during recruitment process, yes, during the appraisal process, yes, during the OC or the organizational change process, competency framework needs to be emphasized. Competencies framework needs to be cultured and to be intimidated for such process. Recruitment, appraisal, organizational process, or even on the training process thereby. So what does it should look like? Generally, a competency framework is absolutely well structured so that each competency is clearly defined. Clearly, the metrics have been shown or written down in a sentence or two. Then underneath each competency, a description of positive and negative indicators provides the specific details of what organization expects from its employees. That is very important. What an organization expects from its employees. So what should a competency framework look like? Sometimes competency framework look like a leadership framework. Let's say this is what goes around it. What are we looking at? Setting of direction at the top, bottom, or delivering of the services. We are talking about political astuteness, drive for result, collaborative working, effective team building, empowering others, holding to account, leading change through people, seizing the future, intellectual flexibility, and the broad scanning that goes around it. Competencies framework is all about setting and delivering results, setting the directions and delivering the services. And how can it be done upon it, where the core values is imbibed in our personal qualities, as in self-belief, self-awareness, self-management, and drive to improvement. Personal integrity is supposedly these five points needs to imbibe in a person, in the employees thereby. So what should a competency framework look like? It's in a managing change at the level one. It should change orientation, should be flexible, adaptable, positive to change, and contributes to the change process. At level 2, it should identify particular activities that requires to be modulated or moderated. Proactively addresses the change issues and conflicting, affecting the activities to meet the requirement more and more effectively. Level 3, change, use the changes positively, motivate the team to recognize the change as an opportunity to improve upon it. Level 4 is identify and positive, embrace major change initiative, initiate and direct change in anything commitment, ensuring understanding without the loss of effectiveness. Point number two is creativity, the ability to generate different and improved ways of doing things, display good imagination, lateral thoughts, developing ideas which improve activities, creatively identifies, develop ideas which improves the processes. Translate these into proposal for further consideration. Remember, creatively produces and develops original proposals at level 3. The level 4 is where you produce absolutely creative, innovative ideas that makes a major contribution to the activities of the company, maintains the facilitates the corporate environment which encourages it time and again. Now, I'll try to give you the step-by-step process of building competency framework. The first step, decide what your behavior should be. Recognize what behaviors are important, what are pertinent to the organization, and how these should be demonstrated. Get input from your staff, from your best employee, from your managers in this process. Step number two, ensure that competencies become generic across the employees, enough to apply to roles across the organization, be specific enough to be measurable for each of the individual. Step number three, put it in a simple format that meets the needs of an organization and the staff. So decide on the metrics, what is very important, ensure that everybody espouses it, everybody considers it, and everybody is imbibed with that values or attributes, and then put a simple format that meets the organization and the staff required. Now, how to implement it. This was framework building. Now, how is implement? Consult with every staff about the framework. Give them an opportunity to feedback, to an opportunity to speak as to what they think about the criteria. It should not be a surprise to a staff when competency starts to be assessed in practice. If required, provide trainings to the staff, provide training to the line managers as to what needs to be imbibed in their behaviors, what should be displayed, and how it should be carried forward. Review the framework regularly to make sure that they support the delivery of the strategic goals thereby. And that is very, very important as the case might be. Ensure that it works in practice. Top tips, keep the language and structure absolutely simple. Make sure the framework is easily accessible. It is there on the notice boards. It is there on the employee manual. It is there with the HR manager. It is there with the departmental head. Review company policies. Ensure that they support competency framework. Crucial, ensure the framework is directly linked to the achievement of the organizational goals as on when on basis. So now we are able to know what we started out with it and how does the learning outcomes come around. Defines a competency and competency frames. We are not able to develop and implement a framework altogether much more effectively. Ensure that the competency framework works well in real life situation. You need to know or probably even understand why a competency framework is important, because it impacts the productivity, it impacts the morale, it impacts the morale of the employees, morale of the customer, employs the satisfaction of the customers per se, and how they can be used. With this, I come to an end of this video. Thank you for watching it.